Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the village of Butterstone for another one of our live wee Saturday night half-hour concerts. And I'd like to welcome you all, and hope you've all been looking after yourselves. The weather's terrible here in Butterstone, absolutely horrendous. But I'm really excited because I've extended the stage. Now, we've had a wee stage here, but I've added another section onto it, which gives me another metre, because we're getting a wee bit crammed. And that also allows me maybe to get a wee special guest. Now that things are starting to kind of unwind a wee bit, I'll be able to get a special guest to come up here, and we'll be able to socially distance and maybe do a wee thing in the future. So, the Tatty Faces, welcome to the stage, the new stage, the wonderful Tatty Faces. And they just love the new stage because they've got a bit of space now, you know. And I'm just hoping that they don't start any of their dance moves, you know, because it's not a thing of grace and beauty, really, you know. And I mean, they were asking me if they could move about the stage a bit, and I'm going, no, I don't think so. Anyway, I'm going to start off with this wee song, which I don't sing very much, but it's kind of a wee kind of song of loss of youthful innocence. And when I was a wee boy, I used to, my cousins lived just up on the hills above here, above Butterstone. And there were not a lot of lads around the country, so I used to spend a lot of time with my two cousins. And I would cycle over for about 5 miles over here and go up the hill and spend it with my cousin. I would rake about the woods and fish in the burns and things like that, you know. And it was a wonderful time. And sadly, one of my cousins passed away, and my other cousin lives abroad now, and I don't see them. And it's a part of, you know, it's that part of life that, you know, is completely gone. And in fact, I was thinking about this before I started, and I used to come over on my bike, and I think I was the very first person in the world to have a mountain bike, because my Uncle Bob made me a bike, and he made it from the wheels of one of these bicycles that had an engine that used to be strapped onto the front tyre. So the tyres were that thick, you know. And he made me this bike with these big, thick tyres, you know. And the only problem was there was no gears or suspension or anything. But I think I might have had the very first mountain bike that was ever thought of. Anyway, we'll try the song and see how we go on. And like I say, it's not a song I sing a lot, so anything could happen. So here we go. Youthful innocence wanders across the fields, no wonderful wild. I'm going to start that again because I made a mistake. Youthful innocence wanders across the fields, wonderful wild. Oh, and never a moment was squandered until sleep would take the weary child. Brothers held to adventure across the moor and over the burn, and the whole was held to the centre. But these summer days will never return, and we'll never walk that way again. No, we'll never walk that way again. Lost in the wonder of nature, the blossom flower, the bracken and broom, and deep in our hearts we would take her, oh, and wonder at the shining moon. Brothers held to discover the turning wheel, towering trees, and each would share with the other, oh, and soar inside the summer breeze. we'll never walk that way again. No, we'll never walk that way again. Youthful innocence wanders across the fields, wonderful, wild, oh, and never a moment was squandered until sleep would take the weary child. Brothers held to adventure, oh, across the moor and over the burn, and the whole was held to the centre. But these summer days will never return, and we'll never walk that way again. No, we'll never walk that way again. Thank you very much, and that was my wee song, Youthful Innocence, about my time with my cousins when I was young, and that very kind of important time in your life, you know, where there is a kind of wonderful innocence and everything's just kind of magical, and it's a kind of sadness that as you grow older, you know, you kind of lose all that, you know, and well, you don't lose it, but it becomes more distant in your thing. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this wee song, and I just came back from the island of Lewis. Actually, spent 3 or 4 days up on the island of Lewis, and it was brilliant, you know. But the weather was I've never seen such bizarre weather. And Lewis gets weird weather anyway, but this was the weirdest weather I've ever seen, you know. And what would happen would be that the sun would be shining, and then all of a sudden there'd be hailstones, and then the sun would shine again, and then there'd be hailstones. And Mr. Tattyface came up to Lewis with us, you know, but he didn't get on very well on the boat. Actually, he didn't. It's a 3-hour kind of ferry crossing, you know, and I did notice him turning a little bit green, you know. And that's a funny thing for a Tattyface to turn green. But anyway, I'm going to do this wee song, and this was a request. Every week I try and take we have the songs that get requested, and we stick them in Mr. Duncan Tattyface's hat, and I pick one out, and this is what this one was in it. So we'll have a wee go at this. One of my songs was just vaguely a love song. And if you hear anything that sounds like a chorus, just help yourselves, because don't wait for me to tell you to sing along. Okay, guys. Here comes the morning, cruel and clear. There is no reasonable chance that it might disappear. And here comes the evening, it's still the same. We are just passengers upon this godless ghostly train. But she loves me when I try. She thinks about me when I'm gone. Or she helps me when I can't hold on. And it's another market, another sale, another reason to believe we're ahead and cannot fail. But there's deadly dangers that we must endure. There are so many different ways, we never can be sure. But she loves me when I try. She thinks about me when I'm gone. Oh, she helps me when I can't hold on. And there is no ending to this tale. There is no destination on this long and restless rail. Here comes the morning, cruel and clear. There is no reasonable chance that it might disappear. But she loves me when I try. She thinks about me when I'm gone. Oh, she helps me when I can't hold on. And she loves me when I try. She thinks about me when I'm gone. Oh, she helps me when I can't hold on. Thank you very much, and that's my song, She Loves Me When I Try, my wee vaguely love song. And in fact, there was a lovely version of that by Cara Dillon, did a wonderful version in it with in a group called Equation a number of years ago. It was one of my favourite versions of that song, the covers of that song. Anyway, it was brilliant. And now's the wee time when I'm going to get you to sing a chorus. And I thought I would do this because of the weather that's out there tonight. I mean, it really is quite brutal. And on my way back down from Lewis, it was quite incredible. Coming over by Newton Moor, there was about 6 inches of snow. And it's May, you know, and there was 6 inches of snow. And the landscape just looked like it was the middle of winter. It was unbelievable. Very strange times for the weather. Anyway, so... And this is my version of the kind of night visiting song. And, you know, there have been night visiting songs all through different cultures and things and that. And, you know, where the man arrives at the house in the rain and kind of knocks on and, you know, and let me in. And what you sing is you sing, will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? So it's, will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And the Tatty Faces are going to do one of their famous 5-part harmonies on this, so we're getting really excited. Right, Duncan? Just making sure they're not getting too kind of excited on this big stage here, you know. Happening. Anyway, so see how much noise you can make. And one of the great things about the last year of doing these broadcasts, and we're up to 85 now, 85 broadcasts. I mean, that's unbelievable. Is the community of people that have joined us for every weekend, and the idea that everybody from all over the world, from people from America, from Australia, from Europe, we could all be able to kind of sing together. And so I've really enjoyed that part of the whole thing. So here we go. This is what you sing. We'll do the chorus a couple of times before I do the song. Okay. For those of you who might not know it. Okay. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? Okay, that's what you sing. Alright guys, yep. Clear it. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? We'll do it one more time and then I know that you've all got it nailed. Here we go. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And I may lose my way back home, lose the signs that I've been shown, wander helpless through the storm, all alone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? When I may lose the sense to run, finish what I've not begun, fading with the winter sun, everything undone. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And I may lose the sense to dream, for nothing is the way it seems, and all the places I have been forever unseen. Speak about noise. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? And this is where you sing it on your own. Is everybody ready? Think about it. Have a wee sip of your glass of wine or whatever it is, your refreshment you're having with your... And here we go. Will you hear? Fantastic. We're all getting the vibe here in the old school, aren't we, guys? Yeah. So fantastic. I think you should do it again with a wee harmony or two. With the guys here. Go on. Will you hear? Maybe we'll just let the tatty faces do it on their own, just with their harmony. Just the tatty faces, eh? Here we go. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. When when nothing ever overcomes the fear, out of sight but always near, waiting for the sky to clear, I will disappear. Will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild and windy night? Will you catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night? One last time, will you hear me if I'm calling on this wild windy night? You catch me if I'm falling on this wild and windy night, on this wild and windy night. Well done. That sounded that sounded great, and I can just imagine all over the planet, we kitchens and living rooms, people singing. It's brilliant. So we'll do this song now, and I've done some work for a little work for a wonderful charity called Nordhoff Robbins, who they place music therapists into hospices and places, and it's a fantastic charity. And a number of years ago, I was very privileged to be invited down to a wee hospice, which is not far from here, down at Kinross, called Rachel House. And it's a place for terminally ill kids, and I mean, you would think it would be a sad place, but it was one of the happiest places I've been. The staff were just wonderful, and in fact there was one wee guy out playing football where he's kind of and he had a kind of life support kind of thing going on with him, and he had it in a shopping trolley, a supermarket shopping trolley, and he was wheeling it around and playing football, and all the teachers and that were there with it. And I mean, I was very privileged to be invited in to listen to one of the music therapists doing this music therapy session, and they brought in this wee girl, and she was obviously really, really sick, and she was in a chair, and her head was getting held up, and she'd piped the tubes and everything in, and she had this kind of gaunt look on her face. And they positioned her, they put her into the room, and wheeled her into the room, and the music therapist lady, she just started playing the piano and singing the wee girl's name. And all of a sudden, I was watching, all of a sudden the wee girl's face kind of lit up, and suddenly it became animated, and she started reaching out, trying to I thought it was like she was trying to catch the music, and it was complete, the transformation was amazing. And I always thought music was magic, and I've always believed it was magic, but that was one of the moments in my life when I was actually completely convinced, reassured and convinced, and and believing that it was magic. So anyway, I wrote this little song. I wrote this wee song, and I would love to have been able to play it for the mother and the father of the wee girl, and I don't know what ever happened to her, but it was just one of those wee moments, and so we'll try it now, and we'll see how we got on. This is where she plays a little tune, it sings around the room, it dances through the air and sparkles everywhere. A simple melody, a gentle harmony, a door will open wide and you will run outside, oh, and you will fly away. for a moment freed from one more endless day. Oh, you hold out your hand to show you understand, to try and catch the light shining oh so bright, the blinking of an eye. So many reasons why it's a gift from those who care. It can take you anywhere. Oh, and you will fly away for a moment freed from one more endless day. Oh, time releases all, the great and mighty fall, and fortune fills the skies with magical surprise. A simple melody, a gentle harmony. It's a gift from those who care. It'll take us anywhere. Oh, and we will fly away for a moment freed from one more endless day. Oh, she plays a little tune, it sings around the room, it dances through the air and sparkles everywhere. A simple melody, a gentle harmony. A door will open wide and you will run outside. Oh, and you will fly away for a moment freed from one more endless day. Oh, and you will fly away for a moment freed from one more endless day. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, which I call "The Gift," and yeah, and it was an incredibly moving experience. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our wee half-an-hour live broadcast here in the Old Schoolhouse, and just a wee kind of reminder: next Saturday will be one of the ticketed shows, which is a kind of an hour-long show, and I have a couple of little videos to show on that as well. So if you're going to you can get your tickets from www.dougiemacleanlive.com, and we'll see you then. And I also like to take this wee moment, always like to take this moment, because the reason I started doing all these things is because of the lockdowns and the trauma of what we've all been through in the last year, and the trauma that particularly some people have, all our NHS workers and our healthcare workers and our teachers and all the people who've had to kind of really struggle with all kinds of stuff over the last year. And it's nice to see it all easing off now, but we're all been very careful, and I like to just thank everybody every week, and right down to the people who have been delivering my parcels, delivering the emptying my bins, just serving in the shops that I go into, and everybody working with masks on and screens and everything makes it difficult. And anyway, well done all of you. And so I'll just there's nothing else to say but to thank the Tatty Faces for behaving themselves tonight, and and not getting carried away with our big new stage. And thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the hour. Leave us a wee message on Facebook if you let us know where you're watching from. It's always good. And have a chat with some of the other people. I noticed that my mother enjoyed last week. I had suggested that you all have a wee chat with her, and she fair enjoyed all the different people who from all over the world who had left wee messages for her and stuff and that. So there's a great opportunity for you all to kind of communicate with each other. Anyway, thanks to Jenny for pressing the buttons. It's just me and Jenny in the old schoolhouse here tonight. So thanks to Jen for pressing the buttons, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. And night night. You all take care. Stay cheery. Look after yourselves. I've got a new catchphrase, and it's like smile like a tatty face, And somebody said I should get a T-shirt done with smile like a tatty face. I might do that actually, because they always smile. They're always happy. They always cheer me up. And that's what my mother said. She's got a tatty face tea towel on her wall, and she says whenever she gets depressed, she just looks at the tatty faces and it cheers her up. So, anyway, night night. Stay cheery and look after each other, and I'll see you next weekend. Bye bye now.